Hi guys, so as promised, I'm back with a follow-up video on my experience with the Spectra Wearable Breast Pump. So I have been using this product for about over a week now. I've been meaning to post this video earlier, but unfortunately I had some kinks that I had to figure out on my own before I could do a review on this product. So that's why it's been delayed a little bit, but I think now I'm ready to give you my thoughts on this product. So before I go into giving you guys my review, I wanted to briefly go over how to use this product, because I think in the last video I just did the unboxing and went over the manual, but I don't think I quite went over how to use this product. So I wanted to do that, and then at the last bit of the video, I'll kind of go over what I think about this product. Alright, so I wanted to kind of start with how to assemble this first. I know I did that in the last video, but there were a couple of things I wanted to clarify. So first, let me disassemble this. So I do it a little bit different than what the manual says. So in the last video, I also kind of went over assembling this, but I'll show you what is the most efficient way. So here are all the parts, and according to the manual, let me pull up the picture. So basically it's saying to put all the silicone parts together. So that's the first step. And then it tells you to put this main unit to the phalange, and then it tells you to put this bottle and then the pump last. So basically I follow their steps except for the last bit. I found that it's actually a little bit easier if I put the bottle in last, and I'll show you why. So first I put together all the silicone parts. So these are the white parts. Excuse all the hair. So this is pretty easy to put in. Just push it in together. Okay, and honestly you can put this in later, but you can just go ahead and do that. Alright, so I think the mistake that I made in the last video was I went ahead and put in the bottle. But if you do this, I mean you can, but if you do this, then you can't quite secure this brown unit to the phalange, so I don't recommend not doing it. So what I mean by that is, you can't, I mean you can push it in, but it's not going to be as flush as if you're doing it without the bottle. So after putting in the silicone parts to the phalange, I would just go ahead and attach this to the brown unit. I don't know what else to call it, the cover, I guess. And then you kind of, not having the bottle here allows you to kind of push it in farther. So you can push in the phalange part quite flush. So that's pretty secure. And then the instruction tells you to put in the bottle, but I found that it's actually easier to do the unit first, because it's a little bit tricky to put the main pump to this unit. So the main reason is because these are held together by these tiny holes. So there's one hole here and then another hole here. So it's a little bit tricky to manipulate, and this thing is quite heavy. This is very heavy. I mean, compared to this, it's not, terribly heavy, but compared to this, it is. So what I found to be easy was I go ahead and kind of click in the pump into both holes. So one here, and then you can kind of click in one here. And then I turn around and I kind of push in the rest of the parts. And then it's easy to kind of grab onto the edge of this cover, and to do that, so I kind of go around, start here, and then kind of push along the edges. And yep, and that's it. So if you have the bottle here, it would be kind of hard to kind of, use the edges to push. So that's why I recommend putting in the unit first. and then the bottle comes last. So what I found to be one of the flaws, or I guess one of the downsides of this pump, is that I don't really feel like this bottle is very secure when I push it in, because all of the way it's being held is by this there's a thin silicone ring around it, and that's what's holding these together. So you push it in, and then when you think that you're done pushing, I would kind of go turn around, and then I would kind of push it one more time. So I kind of push it in until I feel it's secure. And then you can test it by kind of trying to pull it out, and then it's in. So that's how you assemble the unit. And then to kind of go over how to use this product. So I think one of you guys had questions about different modes. And so I'll go over the functions again. So this is the on and off button. And then this is the massage. This wavy thing is a massage mode. And this is the expression mode. And these are just plus and minus signs to increase the intensity of either the massage mode or the expression mode. So I think in the last video I wasn't very clear about these different modes and intensities. So when you first start, it goes straight to the expression mode. It never goes to the massage mode first. Same with Spectra S1 or S2. So you kind of have to press this button to go to the massage mode. So you click it, the massage mode, and then you can increase or decrease intensity of the massage mode. It remembers the last intensity that you used, which is pretty nice. So I personally use the third level, but it really depends on your preference. So you can kind of decrease or increase. There's only one mode for massage. There's no, there's only one light. You can just adjust the intensity. So that was the massage mode, and then after that, you can do the expression mode. Honestly, you can go straight to the expression mode. Doesn't really matter, is what I found personally. But if you feel like the massage mode helps with your letdown, you can definitely go start with that for a couple of minutes. So after that massage mode, you can go to the expression mode. So with the expression mode, you can increase or decrease intensity too. And then you can change the mode. So there's 3 different modes of expression. So if you can kind of hear the sound, it's just very steady, consistent clicking noise. And then the second mode is a little different sound. So I feel like it starts with a weak intensity, and then there's like a little bit stronger. And then the third mode, that's what it sounds like. I honestly don't know if anyone will use a third mode. It sounds a little bit strange to me, but I guess it depends on your preference. And again, this manual kind of goes over what those modes will look like on a graph. I personally just use the first mode because I think that's what's most consistent with my baby sucking. So it really depends on your preference. And then in terms of the intensity, so I use level 3 for both massage and expression mode. I think that's kind of the safe middle ground. I don't want it to be too intense to the point where it's hurting my nipples. But I think it really depends on your preference. So the reason why I went with kind of 3, which is in the middle, is because with my Spectra S1, which I use as my main pump at home, I noticed that there's 12 different vacuum mode. Let me just double check that. So you can have either level 1 all the way through level 12. Yes. My go-to level is level 5 with S1. So that's kind of in the middle. I don't think there's any equivalence between the two. It's very different because this has 12 levels and this only has 5. So you can't really say, oh, if you use level 5 in this one, you have to go to level 3 here. You can't really compare. It's kind of apple to an orange comparison. So, I would kind of suggest playing around with this pump and kind of see what's most comfortable for you. It really depends on your personal preference. So yeah, I think 3 is what's been working for me. Okay, so those are the different settings of Spectra Wearable Pump. So I'll kind of share how I use it. So I think with the wearable pump, one of the most important things is placing it in your bra securely. So the bra that I've been using is this pumping / nursing bra from I think it's a brand called Mom Cozy on Amazon. It's pretty nice because it's just plain bra, but it also has this little hook that you can undo when you're nursing, so it kind of comes off, and you can nurse that way, or you can use this as a pumping bra by putting in your phalanges here through this hole. So you can kind of, you know, put in your phalanges for your normal pump. So honestly, I think you can use any bra as long as this goes in there. But I like using this bra because of the hook. So I think it's easy to take it out after you're done pumping if you have this hook. So that's just my personal preference. So I've been experimenting with different ways to wear this pump. I think what's been working the most is if you make sure that this part around your body is tight, because when you place this in the bra, you don't want it to kind of fall off. And so I kind of make sure it's tight, and then this part over your shoulder, I found that don't make it too tight, and I'll kind of explain why. So I kind of make it loose. This is kind of one of the looser length that I can go. So the reason why I say this is because I found that with this pump, it's kind of hard to see with the brown cover, so I'll take it off for a minute. Just look at the shape of the phalange, and you'll kind of understand why it's important to make the body, the part that goes over the body, tight. So if you look at this phalange, it's straight. So it's kind of different from your normal phalange, so which is kind of going down. So it's using the gravity to help the milk go down, but this one is straight. So if you make this shoulder part tight, then it's gonna tip the unit this way, which is gonna spill all your milk, which happened to me. So when I was using the pump, I could feel this milk around my bra. I was wondering why, but it's exactly because I made this shoulder part too tight, which tipped the pump this way, if it makes sense. So you kind of want to almost make it kind of similar to this, where it kind of tips over the other way, and that's why, you know, at the bottom where the bottle is, I kind of, you know, I tighten it. I kind of tighten the area where the bra touches this area, so that it kind of tips slightly over this way. It's going to, you know, if you have a small chest, or if your chest isn't fully covered by this phalange opening. This phalange opening is very big, by the way, so it may not cover your entire breast. But it's okay if you see like a little gap here, you know, between your breasts. So for example, if this is your breast, you know, it's kind of, make sure this part where your breast is touching the bottom of the phalange is tight all the way to kind of here, and you might see like a little gap here between your breast and the pump if your breast isn't large enough to cover the entire thing, and that's okay. Like if there's a little gap here, that's fine, but make sure that the rest of the area is kind of tight, if it makes sense. So anyway, yeah, that's what I found to be useful. And then I think with the wearable bras, the positioning is very important to ensure suction. So I found that, you know, there were a couple times when there were, you know, I feel like so far 70% of the time that I've used this, I've used it successfully. I feel like I've had almost similar output as my S1, so I was very excited. But there were a few times when, you know, I've pumped for like 20 minutes and I check and I only get like a third of the output. So I was wondering why, and I think it's because I lost suction midway, and it's hard to tell. And that's one of the downside about wearable bras, because you can't really check your progress with you know, like a normal wearable or non-wearable pump. You can kind of, you know, look and see where your nipple's placed. You can kind of adjust if you need to adjust it. Make sure your suction's tight, so you can kind of see your progress, and you can kind of watch your bottle to see how many ounces you filled. But with this one, it's gonna be in your bra, and this part is brown. I kind of wish it was more translucent, but this part is brown, so you can't really see your nipple really well. It's not really see-through, and it's gonna be placed in your bra, so you can't check your progress. But that's not really the fault of this pump. It's really with any wearable bra that you buy. That's just one of the things to consider. So make sure the suction isn't lost midway, and to do that, try to minimize the movement of this unit in your bra is what I found to be important. So what I used to do, I made a mistake initially of kind of moving around too much, because I was kind of afraid that, oh, you know, like I don't want to pump for 20 minutes and not have any output. So I used to kind of check constantly. I used to, you know, I placed the bra, I placed the unit in the bra, and then I used to kind of constantly like open this, unhook this to, you know, make sure it's been working. And I think that kind of messed up with the suction. And so I would try not to do that. So I would go ahead and first wear the bra, and then place this in here instead of placing this here on your breast and then you know, placing the bra. That might kind of mess up the suction too. So I would kind of wear your bra and place it in, and then kind of adjust your straps if you need to. And then if you need to check your progress, you can kind of still do that through, you kind of peek in through like the middle here, if it makes sense. So that's what I've been doing. See, this suction isn't that strong. It keeps coming off. So you can kind of wear it, and then, you know, you can kind of peek in through the middle part to see if there's any milk collection here. That's kind of what I've been doing. I kind of peek in during pumping session. And then, yeah, and then once the pumping session is done, always grab the unit by, like how I'm doing here now with the bottle. Don't just grab the unit like this, just because this may fall off, and you don't want to waste all the milk that you've just produced. So make sure when you're grabbing it, grab the whole thing, and then just gently take it out. And when you're taking it out, obviously you're done, so you don't care about the suction anymore. So you can just unhook it and take it out, or you can take it out from the top. So yeah, so there it is. So in terms of my experience so far, so I pump for 20 minutes each side. So I think it helped if I do the massage mode for a couple minutes, and then I do the expression, and then when it hits about midway, like 10-minute mark, I kind of switch over to the massage mode again. So I kind of induce another letdown, and then I do another massage or another expression mode for the rest of the time. So I do massage, expression, and then at 10 minutes I do again massage and then expression for another 10 minutes. So it's really your personal preference, and you can kind of play around to see what helps. But with that, I produce about 3 ounces per side or more, depends. So, and that's pretty comparable with what I produce with my S1. So as long as you place it correctly in your bra and not let it move around too much, I think it'll work. But like I said, you can't, you know, the fact that you can't really check your progress and make adjustment midway, that's a little bit, that's one of the downside. But feel like if you get the hang of it, you'll be able to do it successfully. So, all right, so after the pumping session is done, obviously that was only one side. So, you know, I disassemble it. And initially I made the mistake of, you know, taking out the bottle first. I was so excited. I was like, oh, you know, I produced like 3 ounce. I'm going to go ahead and store it. So I took out the bottle. Oops. Okay, that wasn't secure. That wasn't supposed to happen. That does not happen. I just didn't secure it enough earlier. Anyway, so I disassembled the bottle. Now you're kind of stuck with this heavy unit. There's not really a way to put it down because of the flange. So if you plan on using the same unit like this and just switching out the bottle, which you can, it's gonna be tricky because to put it down. So unless you have another bottle to kind of quickly switch out, you know, be careful, because the only way to put it down is, because this is heavy, it's this way, which is not advisable, because if you look at this flange part, it kind of tips. If you tip it over, the liquid will collect here. I think this is called a protector. So you'll have like some milk kind of spill over here, which might affect the suction. I think it's less of a concern with Spectra than some other brands, but still, you don't want to do that too much. So I would recommend kind of putting your down unit like that, because it's going to tip over. So if you have to put it down, if you want to switch the unit, either have another bottle ready to kind of go, or you can just or you can take out this pump first, because this is the heavy part, and then put it down like that, so that the milk doesn't get to the protector part so much. So yeah, so that's what I would do. And then kind of wanted to go over the charger a little bit, because in my last video I talked about the charger. I wanted to clarify that in the last video I had struggled with putting this adapter into the charger, but it did fit. It ended up fitting. It was just hard to push it in initially. So you can buy one of these things at Amazon. I think they sell for maybe like $7 for 2 units. So you can buy this, or this pump uses USB Type-C cable, so you can just purchase one that is compatible to the American voltage. So you can just do that. Either way. So I want to just clarify that the adapter worked in the charger. And since I pump about 20 minutes each side, if I do 2 pumps, 2 breasts, then that's 40 minutes. So since this has a battery life of about an hour and a half, that would be enough to do, you know, at least like 2 full pumping sessions for me. But I usually try to just charge it right away after each pumping session, so that I don't have drained battery for the next time. So you can do that as well. So yeah, so that was an overview of how I've been using this pump, and I'll kind of go over the cleaning part next. So the cleaning, you know, you just disassemble everything. It's pretty much the same amount of parts that you have to clean, similar to S1, so it's not too many that's added. So I just, you know, take everything apart. One tip here is that, you know, I used to wash everything as is and dry everything as is and put them together, but I highly recommend disassembling this little ring part, the silicone ring that's creating kind of suction. So I highly recommend removing this and then letting them dry completely, letting both the bottle and the ring dry completely before you put them together, because otherwise you're going to feel that this is a little bit loose when you connect them all together later. Because initially I just didn't bother taking this apart. I just dry them as is, and I noticed that with more use, this came off more easily. Like I was holding it and then it would just like come off. So definitely made a difference when I let the ring dry completely. So definitely do that. And then yeah, I usually just wash everything in a Dapple soap, dishwash soap. That's safe for babies. And then I don't really sterilize every time because I don't think that's necessary. And I think honestly it would, if you sterilize every time, it may damage or it might shorten the lifespan of these parts. And like if these parts are very hard to get in the United States right now, so I just wash them thoroughly and I dry them well. I did sterilize it initially when I took them out of the box, but that's about it. So yeah, that's how I've been cleaning it. Okay, so I'll kind of go over my thoughts, and I think that's what you guys been waiting to. So obviously, one of the pros is that it's wearable, so it's portable. So I was able to do the dishes, and since I'm pumping like one breast at a time, I was able to kind of attend to my baby more. So my other breast will be available. So sometimes I would kind of nurse on the breast that I'm not pumping, and pump on the other side, or I would use that side to kind of hold the baby in my arms because it's hard to do when you're pumping both sides. So I would kind of use the other side to hold and burp the baby. So that's been pretty nice. So the portability definitely is a plus, and that's why I wanted to buy this in the first place. And then two, even though this machine is small and it's new, I think it's very strong and I think it works pretty well. It has pretty good suction. Some people might not think it's as good as Spectra S1, but for what it is for a portable pump, I think it's great. The battery life could be a little bit longer, but as long as you're good about charging it, you should be okay. And then, so those are some of the pros that I could think of. And then some of the cons. So, I mean, these are all lightweight, but I think the pump itself is pretty big. So if you put them all together, I mean, it's gonna stick out of your bra and it's going to be noticeable if you're pumping around and at work or something. I mean, unless you're wearing very baggy shirt, it's going to be noticeable, and because the thickness and the length and everything, it's not negligible. So I think I showed you in the last video, it's about the size of your hand. So your breasts are gonna look much bigger, so it's not very discreet. But I mean, to me that's okay. I'll be wearing something baggy. And then another con for me, I think, is this cover. So I mean, all the other materials look and feel very quality. Like it's very much the same material as your regular like S1 phalange and silicone and everything, but this part feels very cheap to me, and I feel like I'm very worried about these holes that are holding the pump together, because I feel like these tiny slits, I feel like they're not gonna hold very long. I feel like one of those days when I try to put it in or take it out, I feel like I'm gonna break it one day and then I'll be screwed. So I hope that doesn't happen, knock on wood, but it might. And honestly, this feels a little bit cheap. They probably had to make it in plastic because they don't want to make the weight too much. So I understand why they did that, but I wish this was a little bit, this design was a little bit better, and I wish that this was maybe like not a brown color, so maybe I can kind of watch my progress a little bit more. It's very dark, so I can't really see what my nipple's doing. I don't know, that's just me. So And I wish that the suction part was between the bottle and the phalange was stronger. You know, with another competitor brand wearable pump like LV, I know they have this clicking button system to kind of just, take the bottle off, and then you can click it on, and that kind of felt more secure to me. This one, just make sure you hold on to the bottle when you handle the pump after the pumping session, because I have read in some blogs that some people have had spills before, so be careful. So those are some of my, I guess, cons that I've discovered so far, but I think overall this is a very solid unit. I was debating whether to purchase another set or not, because for two reasons. One, like, I wanted to be able to pump at both breasts at the same time, especially when I go back to work. So I wanted another one of the pump. And then two, I wanted kind of have extra sets of the parts so that I don't have to wash them all the time. I mean, the set came with two of this unit, but if I'm pumping two breasts at the same time, it would be nice to have another pair. And I think in Korea right now they're selling just this unit for about like $15, which is very cheap. But I haven't seen it on eBay yet, so it'd be nice to have just an extra set. So I've been debating, I just wanted to make sure that this is working before I purchase another set, because another set would be another $200 for me to buy in the US. But I think I'll go ahead and purchase another one. That's my thought so far. It might change. I might use it. I still have a few more weeks until I go back to work. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm leaning towards purchasing another one just because it would be more convenient to have something more portable than something like my S1. I mean, I love my S1. It's been working out great for me. I can rely on it at all times, but this is a little bit too heavy for me. Not as portable. So, I think I will, but we'll see. If I change my mind, I'll come back and tell you guys. But so far, I think with it has a learning curve for sure, because it's a new product. But after you've kind of trained yourself on how to use it, then I think it'll work out. One thing I forgot to mention is that this could be a con for some people, but this phalange is one size fits all, like I mentioned before. So if you have a bigger nipple than this, then you might have trouble fitting, because when I try to measure it, I don't think it was quite 28 millimeters. It was closer to 24 millimeters is what I found. I don't know exactly if it is 24, but it was closer to that than 28. So it fits me for sure, but for some people it may not. So that could be an issue. And for some other people who have smaller size, then you could try to purchase like a cushion or like an insert to kind of go put in here. I haven't tried it yet, but if it keeps having issues, that was going to be my next step. I was considering purchasing an insert, if I couldn't get it to work, but I think I kind of have it down. So we'll see. I need it to work 100% of time for me, just because when I go back to work, I can't waste my time, trying to pump and it doesn't work. So, I'll kind of play around, and if I have any failures, I'll try to buy an insert and see if it works. Otherwise, so far so good for me. So I'll continue to use as is. So anyway, so that was my review of this product after having used it for about a week. I hope you found it interesting and helpful, and if you have any specific questions, please let me know in the comment section. In the next video, I would like to talk about the comparisons between the Spectra Wearable and the LV, since I've used it before. So I'll kind of go over the details in the next video, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.